world is currently home to 7.5 billion people, a number which has increased by 2 billion in my lifetime alone. There is 57.3 billion square miles of habitable land, although, unlike the population, that number is unlikely to change too much. Some are concerned that the population will swell further and there will be too many of us to sustain life on Earth. But what if the reverse happened? What if all but 100 people were wiped from the face of the Earth? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions, the channel that loves a good discussion on basically any topic. We believe no question is ridiculous and that no answer is unworthy of airtime. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if the world was just 100 people? Before we get into this video, why don't you guys let me know where it is in the world that you're from, and if you know it, the population of your town or city. Also, while you're down there, why don't you leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend. Social. Get social. Okay, so before we talk logistics, let's talk stats. Stats. Sexy stats. If we condense down what we already have to be represented by 100 people, then according to Gabriel Ralick and 100people.org, 50 would be men and 50 would be women. Lovely. Who run the world? Well, both of us at the same time. In terms of race, the world would be 60% Asian. If the 100 people in the world were broken down by continents, there'd be 14 Americans, 11 Europeans, 60 Asians, and 15 Africans. In terms of religion, there'd be 31 Christians, 23 Muslims, 15 Hindus, 7 Buddhists, and 16 non-affiliated or non-religious people. There'd be 6 main languages spoken, with the 2 most popular being Mandarin and Spanish, followed then by English, Hindi, and Arabic. There would be a person who didn't understand any of them though. 86 people would have the ability to read and write, and 14 simply wouldn't. Money would be very unfairly distributed. Most people would make between $2 to $10 a day, and only one person would make more than $90 a day, and that same person controls 50% of all of the money out there, which maybe makes you think that if you were one person in the 100, perhaps actually you're probably quite lucky. One of the 100 people would be starving and on the brink of death, and 11 would be malnourished. 26 would be overweight and 8 obese. On the other hand, 8 people don't have access to safe drinking water. I'm already sensing a lot of tension between these 100 people. So if there were 100 people on Earth, despite our backgrounds, ethnicities, and differences, the only way to protect the human race is to live together as a tribe. If I've learned anything from Game of Thrones, it's that the lone wolf dies but the pack survives. Wait, what am I talking about? They basically all die. Good. Anyway, we would need to make our way to one another for protection, but where would we choose? As it is, 56 people live in cities and 46 are from the countryside, but is there any point of a city if there are only 100 people to fill it? We would need to live pastoral lives, with land to farm and a clean water supply as well as temperate conditions. Maybe we'd choose to live somewhere in the Mediterranean, Europe, or southern United States. What's wrong with Florida, for example? So sunny. Alligators. That's what. With just 100 people living in a very tiny part of the world, animal life would be blooming across the rest of it. We would be vastly outnumbered by predators, all the more reason to stick together. Also, I've gotta say, with us just living in one place, would there be another sentient race of animals at some point to come and compete with us? The only thing that we currently have on our side is that sentience and the ability to control machines. Perhaps we could gather what is left and useful from our former civilizations and build a fortress. Unlike our ancestors living in tribes, we now have powerful weapons, and the most powerful weapon of all, knowledge. We now know how to look after ourselves, how to feed ourselves, how and where to build. We know how to create and harness electricity. Currently, our lives are built on so many mistakes that we could learn from if we ever needed to do it all again. To stay alive, we would not only need to use the things that are left, but remember how these things work. Let's talk about breeding options for a second. Like I said, we need to stay alive, and there is one surefire way to ensure that. Create more humans. If the world was just 100 people right now, then 26 of them would be under the age of 15. Ugh. Between the ages of 16 and 34, let's consider them the breeding years, there would only be 32 people, so 16 couples. Yes, some of the 20 people aged between 35 and 49 could breed too, but the 22 people over the age of 50 may struggle. So with around 16 to 20 breeding couples, there isn't a lot of gene pool for new generations. Although, wide enough, I guess. You just better not be too picky about small things like actually being attracted to someone or in love with your partner. Oh, and if the world was as it is now but scaled down, then one person would have HIV and 5 would have an STD. So, food for thought. So we're all living together and trying to keep the human race alive? Think about it. You probably know more than 100 people right now, and they are likely to be quite similar to you. Imagine knowing 99 other people and relying on one another to survive. This would actually maybe be kind of great for humanity. We would need to communicate with one another, which would mean learning one another's languages and understanding different ways of thinking. If there were just 100 of us and one person was stinking rich and well fed while others were poor and starving, we'd probably do something about it, right? The less fortunate may rebel and try and steal from the person with wealth, but this may end in bloodshed. Then our already dwindling population would be even smaller. A bad move. Perhaps if the world were just 100 people, we would realize the value in helping one another, the value in us being all healthy, the value in all being peaceful. Doesn't that sound kinda lovely? Do you think we could do it? Well, this is a huge question that could be debated for a very long time, so why don't we continue our discussion in the comments section down below? Perhaps we should make a part 2 to this video and focus on different separate areas. What do you guys think? What do you think would happen if the world were just 100 people? Would it be peaceful, or would we kill ourselves off? Cheery. While you guys are down there, why don't you leave a thumbs up on this video and share it with a friend? Also, don't forget to leave a comment because we love reading them out at the end of the video. I now am going to read out some comments from my most recent video, What If the Sun Went Out for 24 Hours? Killin Holmes said, luckily I'm in Florida and it never snows here. I've only ever seen snow 3 times in my life. I mean, I live in Canada where it snows a lot and honestly it is lovely when it first falls, but then comes slush, and slush is not nice. Honestly, you're lucky to live in Florida where it's sunny all year round. Sisters Show asked what would happen if the sun moved closer to Earth. A very good question. A Paranoian said, I'd be more than happy to talk about British weather. It's crap. They're done. Yeah, to be honest, that's pretty much it. So there we go. Thank you very much. Good. This is the end of the video. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. Once again, do hit that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you soon. But until then, stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.